Well, I said, if your name isn't on it, do you want to?
Okay, I'm gonna tell her I'm doing it.
Yeah, here, I'll show you.
No, no, I believe you.
We had a conversation.
I believe you. It's done. No
Okay.
problem.
I got it.
Okay, it's good. Brenda, thank you for, thank you. Thank you, Brenda. I don't need you.
No, but I want, I wouldn't violate somebody's
I know that.
privacy.
I know that. Oh, yeah, I gotta,
Oh,
I see.
she said she wasn't available.
Right, okay.
So I think I did.
Also, the last time.
I know, she was hoping.
Right,
but
right.
I
Okay,
think right now
we're good.
her mindset.
Good, Rabbi's got her, and Sheila or me.
So
Hi,
this
guys.
is
Shabbat shalom.
See, this is the prayer that exactly reads off the tongue.
Yes.
So all I have to do is show it. Should I say now it's time to read the prayer? You know?
Yes, I need also. Here, Marissa, come on up.
So I can prompt him when I'm done talking to him, I'm about to give him the
Yes.
Torah and say, okay, now we're going to say.
Yes.
Now, he says, okay.
Marissa, here you go.
Because I'm not going to be able to make the rehearsal because I got a hearing. You can
That's
press
important.
it.
That's important, Marissa.
I couldn't get one on.
Mazel tov, you're gonna begin. All right, so I know you love reading with a pointer, okay? So this is, yeah, I got it for you, it's a yacht. So it's to read from Torah. You can use this or you can use the one we have. This can always be yours. And I'm hoping you're gonna come back and read for me again, okay? And maybe next year in the high school. I have a little idea for Shabbat shalom. You got a haircut? Yeah. Got them all cut, right. Okay. Hi Cindy, hi Aaron. Okay, so that's yours, so I know you love pointer, so that's, enjoy, okay?
I like the flowers.
I thought they're gorgeous.
Yeah, we got into it.
They are beautiful. They turned out, you like them, Marissa? Me too. If you like them, but I think they're beautiful. Okay.
I'm not really sure. I think that pedal may be out of place.
Oh, it looks perfect to me, Rabbi.
Well, and those are great, but you're not over here looking at that.
Well, it's my size. Marissa, he's just joking. Wait, did you get me? I think he's new.
Yes.
Yeah, they're new. I like them.
Mom found you with the pretty year on me on the box.
I like your glasses. Cindy, nice choice.
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay, so Mercy, you want to, you can go sit with Mom and Dad and Aaron and Rabbi. He's gonna call you up, okay? And we're,
These guys are parent.
What?
These guys are parent.
They do have a parent. That's her.
yep, their mommy is here.
So.
Don't worry,
you
I'm
wanna
watching
adopt
them. You can sit with them if
They're
you want.
adoptable. You guys want to go home with her?
You can sit with them
Maybe
if you
Troy
want
play
to.
with?
No, you, oh yeah. People. Yeah, Grammy's got it all worked out.
That's nice, Marissa. You were worried. That's cute.
These kids have parents? Sort of.
A parent.
Speaking of kids with a parent, there's Jack. I said, speaking of kids with a parent, there's Jack.
Oh, good.
Parents can't be far behind.
Usually, that would
They
be
are.
highly unlikely, right? But you
They
know,
don't exactly live around the corner.
you never know. Oh, my husband loved what I made for dinner.
What did you make?
I made risotto
Oh,
and meatballs.
that was good. Here's mine.
And I made challah. Really nice challah.
I can't even with the challah. I think we decided that the reason my challahs are not successful, I can't. I'm too pretty and jealous. I'm challah envy.
For years I couldn't. I finally learned to do it.
I think that we need to get a mixer.
Oh,
I'm not-
I use a mixer.
I know that.
Yeah.
And all the recipes I've read say use a mixer,
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
don't have a mixer. So I've just
Okay.
been like, and then the one recipe, you know,
Mixers
I
can't.
totally skipped over this part of the step where it says like knead the dough. And I
For
was like,
20 minutes.
I know, I didn't do that.
No, okay, well, that would mess it up.
I understand that now.
Okay, well,
I have a better understanding at least.
you need to do that because that actually causes a chemical bond between the gluten stream.
Yeah,
So, like, I know.
yeah.
But anyhow,
I mean, I hear the words. It's a lot of won't, 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 won't. You need to do that. Won't, 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 won't.
it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sit with them.
You can go sit with them. Wait, who do you want to sit with?
With Jack?
Oh yeah, definitely go sit with
Yeah, the Goodmans?
Yeah,
Yeah.
them. You know, pick a family. It's fine.
you're on.
Okay. Just find some parents.
Yeah, sit with like an adult person.
Find some nice
Any
adults.
adult person will do.
I'm ready.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. And a Chag Sameach.
And I'm Chag Sameach. And a welcome into what always ends up being one of the most celebratory times around here. Simchat Torah is coming up. We're going to celebrate it Sunday. We're not going to do some of the things that we would normally do, but we're still going to do some of them and we're going to have a good time. So we'll dance with one Torah instead of opening it all the way up. We'll have it rolled so people can see it. And I think that's good. So,
Somebody
Cantor.
started celebrating early.
Yes.
So tonight, if you could turn in your prayer book to page 128, accompanying us on the Bima tonight is a member of our congregation, Eva Sakal, and we're very glad you're here tonight. Welcome, Eva. And our prayer, Hine Matov, is from the book of Psalms, and it's a reminder of how good it is when brothers and sisters, it says, dwell together.
Goldfish too.
Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, 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 shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, hine matov. La 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 la. Hine matov, hine matov. La 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 la. Hine matov u'manayim. La 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 la. Hine matov u'manayim. Shevet achim gam yachad.
So it is great that we can be here, and we have this thing happening tomorrow. We're celebrating someone taking a step forward, right?
I think we are.
Yeah, I think it's a bat mitzvah tomorrow.
Absolutely, I think you're right.
Marissa, do you know who the bat mitzvah is tomorrow? Yeah. Would you bring your family up here? We can ask you to lead candles and kiddush. Candle lighting's on 120. Kiddush is following on 123. Come on, Aaron.
Over on this side. There you go. First, you're gonna light the candles. Okay.
Takes a little longer. There you go.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Now you read this. Here.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing. And God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
So take this in one hand, and then keep.
Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, baratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, b'ahava uvratzon chin hilanu, zakaron l'maaseh v'reishid, ki hu yom techila, l'mikra'e kodesh, zeh keletziad, Mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta, votanu kidashta, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodecha, v'ahava uvratzon, chen chaltanu, baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-shabbat.
Amen.
Take a sip.
Make a sip if you want. Grape juice?
It's not mine, I promise.
Congratulations. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Mazel tov. Did you finish it, Aaron? Oh, good. I have some for later. Okay.
We're going to continue on page 146. I ask that we rise for Baruch, please. Join me at the bottom of page 151. Please read with me. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, לעולם, לעולם ועד.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות להם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 156. אמת ואמונה כל זאת וקיים עלינו כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו ואנחנו ישראל עמו. All this we hold to be true and trustworthy for us. You alone are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You are our sovereign and Savior who delivers us from the oppressor's hands and saves us from tyrants' fists. You work wonders without number, marvels beyond count. You give us life and steady our footsteps. You perform miracles for us before Pharaoh, signs and wonders in the land of the Egyptians. You led your people Israel out from their midst to freedom for all time. When your children witnessed your dominance, they praised your name in gratitude. We accepted your sovereignty. Moses, Miriam, and all Israel sang together, lifting their voices joyously.
Our song Mi Chamocha tonight is a special melody for the holiday of Sukkot, and there's a part in it where you hear a lot of scales. That's supposed to sound like the wind rustling through the schach. That's the Hebrew word for the covering and the shaking of the lulav. If you want, Rabbi, you can.
No, it's
if
fine.
you want, you could do a little interpretive shaking as you wish.
I will spare us.
As the Spirit moves you. But here we go. This is the shaky part.
On page 161 at the top, please. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts. Then we lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael othi le'olam, ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz, uvayom ha-shvi'i shavat v'inafash. We shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It is a sign forever between God and the people of Israel. For in 6 days God made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from the work and was refreshed. The purpose of Shabbat is to bring us joy, respite from the schedules of the week, and I pray some restoration in spirit so that we can face the new work, doing the work of bringing wholeness. We're going to continue with the Amidah. We're on page 164. Please rise.
Adonai, Sephatai Tiftach Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Mekonei Hakol, V'Zoher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Mevi Gula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Michei Kol Atah Rab Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chayim Dechesed, Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Rofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayim Emunato, Lishenei Hafar, Michamocha Ba'al Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzliach Yeshua, Beneman Atan HaKayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol.
170.
Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, Ukdoshim B'Hoyam Yahalalucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'il HaKadosh.
Please be seated. The top of 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day of Shabbat fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. We're going to take just a second, and I'd like someone to tell me something that they're thankful for this week.
I'm thankful to be alive and nothing horrible has happened.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Let's repeat it back, so in the live stream.
I was just saying, so Brenda says she's happy to be alive, and that we're here and nothing horrible is happening at the time, but
This week, nothing terrible happened.
we're taking it a day at a time.
Okay.
Okay, Elma? A normal mammography. Amen. Amen.
Oh, okay.
Amen. Who else?
That's good news.
Sam?
New life. I have a new nephew that was born earlier this week.
Mazal Tov, a new nephew.
Oh,
Good.
that's wonderful.
Matt?
Marissa's bat mitzvah.
Marissa's bat mitzvah. I like that answer.
We're also grateful.
Yes. Folks, there's so many things, and we don't take enough opportunities to say thank you to each other or to God, or certainly not to ourselves. So we're about to pray for peace, and as we do that, let's think about bringing some sense of shleimut, of wholeness, into our conversations with each other and into their conversations with ourselves. We beat ourselves up sometimes. We don't give ourselves enough credit for the blessings we bring to people's worlds. Maybe if we take better care of ourselves that way, we can take better care of each other. So we are on page 178 with Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amha Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amha Tasim Le'olam. Ki atah tasim leolam, tasim leolam, tasim leolam.
So before we're about to pause privately, but before you move into the thoughts that you're carrying with you, I'd like everyone to start privately in the middle of page 180 and read that paragraph, and then please launch into the prayers that you need to share with yourself.
Oh, say shalom Mirama, Oya say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
V'imru amen, may it be. So, we're about to finish this cycle of Torah. Cantor's actually going to read the last verses of the Torah scroll tonight, but we're not going to say chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek, which you say when you end each book of the Torah, strength, let us strengthen each other, because we're going to save that for Simchat Torah. So while we're reading the last words, we're not really ending the book, because Sunday we'll come back to do that again. But I want to take us back just a moment to chapter 25 of the book of Numbers. There's a plague happening because we are fraternizing with the Moabites. I didn't get an awe from anybody on that. I mean, these are the Moabites, you know? Thank you. And God's upset that we're fraternizing with the Moabites and sends a plague, and it's really just horrible. And the elders, Moses and Aaron and Pinchas, and they're all grieving what's going on. And then we find Zimri, who is a Simeonite chieftain from the tribe of Simeon, and Cosbi, who's a Moabite priestess, walk through camp and into a tent together. And with that, Pinchas gets up with his spear and runs them through. The plague ends, and that's the end of the story, sort of. God promises things to Pinchas that night that God's already promised, and we always take it that Pinchas was some hero because he defended God, but there's no conversation with Pinchas anymore. God said, I'll give you what I promised, but, and the plague ends, we say, because righteousness was done, but we've never really taught that killing people is a good thing. You know, in the morning liturgy, we read that we're supposed to turn our enemy into our friend, not kill them. Okay? So Torah begins to start begging a conversation here, which is really its purpose. Fast forward to this week's portion. Moses is giving farewell blessings. It's been a long book of farewell statements, but now we're really at the end. And tribe by tribe, Moses is speaking to the people and offers them some gift or blessing. And, well, everyone except Simeon. So if you read this portion, Moses by name names every tribe, no mention of Simeon. In fact, Joseph gets mentioned and his sons get mentioned, as if they're two separate tribes. Torah gives us lots of hints that there's problems along the way. You know, we learn that the oldest is supposed to take the blessing and the double portion of the inheritance, and it never happens, not once. Joseph is, the second to youngest, and he gets it. But they mention Ephraim and Manasseh, but no Simeon. So the rabbis want to explain to us why there's no Simeon. And many will go back to this incident, back that I referred to in the book of Numbers, and because Zimri did what he did, that should require the chastisement of the entire tribe, the exclusion of the entire tribe, and so they've been written out of God. Something we also don't ever see. But some rabbis are comfortable with that. Others will say, well, it's because if you look at the census, their numbers diminished. And so there was no more tribe of Simeon. No offense to your son.
No, it's okay.
Simon. So there was no Simeon, and therefore there was nobody to bless. But I just don't think it's that easy. I recount the history and how that developed because we see this lots of times. We see this, let's go back to the beginning of the Moabites. Anybody know where the Moabites come from?
Moab.
Before they came from Moab. Okay, this is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot, his wife, and their two daughters escape by the help of the angel. The cities are destroyed. Wife turns around, looks backwards, and she's turned to a pillar of salt. So it's just Lot and his daughters, and they're living in the caves. And the daughters say to each other, if we're the only three people alive, we somehow have to repopulate the earth. They get dad drunk, and you know the rest of the story. The two children born of those unions, one is Ammon, one is Moab. And because of the way that comes out, we always think, well, those folks got some issues. All right? In fact, the Moabites are supposed to be our eternal enemy. Until Ruth comes along. Ruth was a Moabite, and she decided to follow her mother-in-law after husbands had died and come back. And we claim that she was the first convert, but I want to know about Sarah, Anyway, that's a whole nother issue. But Ruth, we put out as a hero, and now all of a sudden the Moabites are good again, but only the Moabite women, the Moabite men are still evil. Oh. You got to know there's some conversations being begged to be had here. We do it with the Midianites. The Midianites are Abraham's kids, and yet they're also the evil people forever. And yet Moses' father-in-law is a Midianite. Moses was with the Midianites for 40 years, raising Midianite children, tending to Midianite sheep. And so at the same time that we talk about the Midianites being our enemies, we have such incredible close ties. We've got to have the conversation. So I look at this text, and my brother Simeon is missing. He's missing from the conversation. And I've got to ask, who stood up for him? Nowhere in this text does someone say, hey, Moses, you forgot my brother. It's okay that he's just ignored. And so I'm stuck because every year as we get to this part of the Torah and we're about to celebrate Simchat Torah and we're going to dance with the Torahs, we're going to have this great party and celebrate finishing the cycle and starting it over again, nobody asks the question, where's Simeon? We've become very accustomed to, we'll read the words that are there and then we'll read the words next and God is great and it's all good. But Torah keeps begging these conversations. The inconsistencies are not there by accident. So I gotta wonder, How does this play out in our real world? Don't we leave lots of people out of conversations? Don't we ignore all sorts of people amongst us? We stereotype them all as evil, just like everybody that was part of the tribe of Simeon, because of what Zimri did, every Simeonite is evil and outside of God. Well, stereotyping, we do that racially, we do that with gender, we do that with orientation, we do that with all of the designated classes in our world, and we're accustomed to standing up for them. We march for them. We advocate in the legislatures for these people, and we talk about equality all the time, but that's not who I want to talk about tonight. I want to call attention to the real forgotten people. How about the people who do all of the things that make our world a whole lot better, and we just walk by them? You expect that services are provided for you. And the only time you acknowledge people that do these things for us is when it doesn't get done the way you want it, and then you're angry. But you don't call, how many of you call the postmaster and say, thank you that my mail is being delivered, and I can get my dividend or Social Security check or. And how many of us stop the people who collect our trash to say, thank you for making sure that my neighborhood isn't disgusting? The custodial people in schools. How many of you have ever met Mustafa here? Amazing human being, okay? And he and his crew are here almost all the time, taking care of it to make sure that after rain the ceiling tiles are replaced, and that, you know, all of the construction that we did to make sure that we could now take care of both the preschools that are housed here. And most people don't know that he and his crew exist. But I'm not even just talking about the people who take care of us that way. I'm talking about grandparents who are left in nursing homes. I was chaplain at a nursing home in Cincinnati for 3 years when I was in school. And the number of people who got dumped and never visited. I'm talking about orphans, where they'll lose parents and nobody else in the family wants them. I'm talking about people with severe mental and physical disabilities who get in our way. Okay, we treat them as if they are in our way, as opposed to human beings with dignity who deserve every bit the love and support that we want. I'm talking about the veterans, 22 a day, who are committing suicide in this country while we're screaming about honoring veterans. We're in Oceanport, where there's a Fort Monmouth who refuses to build housing for homeless veterans because they don't want those people in that fort. We become too accustomed to thinking that our ignorance of the others is dealing only with the headline causes. When we think about those who are in need, we can all point to the places where there have been lawsuits and headlines and marches, but we don't think about our own who are in such need. And then I look at this holiday of Sukkot, which is supposed to be the time when the Messiah manifests and becomes real. On Passover, we welcome Elijah, hoping that Elijah will come and announce the coming of the Messianic age. On Tisha B'Av, the day of the destruction of both temples, the Mishnah tells us that the phoenix will rise from the ashes, and on that day the Messiah covenants in this world. And then during Sukkot, as the earth is about to go to sleep, our faith and hope that it will come back and rise again is what brings on that Messianic age. And we're in the midst of the holiday now, and we have so many who are ignored. The most important text, I believe, in our tradition comes from Pirkei Avot. If I'm not for myself, who will be for me? If I'm only for myself, what good am I? And if not now, when? So when we stand up to make sure that people take care of the things that we need, and when we profess our entitlements and the places where we believe that we deserve, we have to be good Jews. We have to stand up for everyone else as well. And you can't say, I'm going to do it for me today, and for you, I'll get to you. If not now, when? And if not during this holiday of Sukkot, for us to open our eyes and our hearts and our minds to those who are in need of advocates, to those who are in need of arms, to those who are in need of us, I don't know when the appropriate time to do it would be. So may we spend this year remembering Simeon and bringing him back into the circle of blessing from this day forth and forever.
Amen.
Please rise. Susharim Roshechem V'chinasu Pithchei Olam V'yavo Melech HaKavod V'huze Melech HaKavod Adonai Tzvot U'Melech HaKavod Sela U'Melech HaKavod Sela Sela Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo Lecha Adonai Hagedula Hagevura Batiferet Bechanitzach Bechahod Ki hol Bashamayim Uvaretz Ki hol Bashamayim Uvaretz Lecha Adonai Amanaka Aminasi
Please be seated.
Lechol Rosh.
Okay. So, in the Red Plout commentary, we are on page 1583. And I believe it is 34, well, the last verses.
34 last four
yeah.
verses.
Right. And so, Brenda Teller, if you would join us for the Aliyah.
So I just want to say a few words about this portion. I had some thoughts about it. I was thinking about how we end and begin a few times, or more than once in Judaism. And it reminded me of how when you're having a really nice time somewhere and you keep saying goodbye to people, but you don't leave. So, and you know, that's it, not, you know, and you're having such a nice time that you walk them out the door, and then you walk them to their car, and then you stand at the car and you talk for a while, and then, you know, and you think about the next time you're going to be together. What'd you say?
Sounds like a first date.
Oh, well, if it's a good first date. Yeah, if it's a good date, that's a good sign of a date. Although it's been a long time since many of us have been on that kind of thing. So in Judaism, we're about to end the Torah in our cycle, and we're about to begin. So it's also interesting that on Rosh Hashanah, traditionally, there are 2 days observed. And traditionally, on the first day, you don't read the Akedah, which we read in the Reformed tradition, which is the binding of Isaac. You actually read the creation story, the beginning of the Torah, which is kind of interesting. And then a few weeks later in the cycle, we're about to end the Torah. And then in a few more days, on Simchat Torah, we're going to read the ending and then the beginning. And then that week in Temple, that Friday, we're going to go back and read the beginning. I don't think I skipped any endings and beginnings now. But that's a lot of ending and beginning. And I personally think it is to hold on to that sweetness of not wanting that cycle to end, but also to link one side to the other in the chain of tradition, that we do this over and over again. And we are reading the same book, but each year we are different people. And Brenda, I know in a few weeks you have something wonderful to celebrate, and you'll be reading Torah as well. And we look forward to that.
Sheet at the beginning.
Exactly.
What did Rabbi say?
At the beginning,
That's right,
Zachary's
Bereshit.
portion is Bereshit.
I just remembered it.
That's right.
Okay,
So
all right.
we're
Here
we're
we go.
excited.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. V'Hoshua binun Malei Ruach Chochma Ki Samach Moshe Et Yado Alav Vayashkimu Elav B'nei Yisrael Vayasu Kasher Tziva Adonai Et Moshe V'lo kam Navi Od V'Yisrael K'Moshe Asher Yirauhu Adonai Panim el panim, l'chol ha'otot v'hamoftim, asher shalchu Adonai lasot be'eretz Mitzrayim lefaro, u'lchol avadav u'lchol aretzo, u'lchol hayad chazaka, u'lchol hamorah hagadol, asher asa Moshe le'nei kol Yisrael.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
That augurs well for the next couple of weeks.
You did good, kid. Please rise.
V'zot ha'Torah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. V'zot ha'Torah asher sam Moshe livnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai v'yad Moshe. Lai 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 lai.
So we are going to take just a second to remember that these words that are thousands of years old continue to motivate our conversations today. Most importantly, they should help us figure out how to better take care of each other as we build a better society. Part of that is recognizing those who are not with us, but want to be, and we want them to be with us, but they're either suffering from injuries or from illnesses, from losses of their own, that they're struggling with people who are suffering from natural disasters and from war. And people close to us, people we're thinking of, our families and close friends, Rabbi Robert Orach, Jim Appio, Vicki Bernstein, Ben Olshan, Linda Clayton, Michael Marks, Scott Kline, Elaine Rothman, Lois Wilkes, and Rabbi Michael Pont. And if there's others who you are holding in prayer, please share, either verbally at home or here in the sanctuary.
Mac family. Josh died. Donald Marc.
Baruch atah Adonai Rofeh HaCholim. God, please make us instruments of healing.
Our prayer for healing can be found on page 371 in your blue prayer book.
Mishabehirach avoteinu mikor habra ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha beirach imotenu, mikor habracha de'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So we are going to return the Torah to the Ark, and then we're going to continue on page 586 with Aleinu, and then afterwards we will commence with Yizkor, the memorial for the holiday, as we take to stock those who we're loving, who have left the earthly course. If you have not taken one of these from the door, please do so. So there are some readings, and certainly all our family names are included as well. So.
We continue on page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekenu l'neotzer breshit, shehu noteh shamayim b'yotzei haaretz, u'moshav yikarov ha'shamayim mimahal, u'shchinat uzo b'govhei meromim, u'Eloheinu einod, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech machne hamlakim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo
Yizkor can be found, the first reading on page 575. Birth is a beginning, and death a destination, and life is a journey. From childhood to maturity and youth to age, from innocence to awareness and ignorance to knowing, from foolishness to discretion, and then perhaps to wisdom. From weakness to strength, or strength to weakness, and often back again. From health to sickness, and back we pray to health again. From offense to forgiveness, from loneliness to love, from joy to gratitude, from pain to compassion, and grief to understanding, from fear to faith. From defeat to defeat to defeat, until looking backwards or ahead, we see that victory lies not at some high place along the way, but in having made the sacred journey stage by stage, a sacred pilgrimage. Birth is a beginning, death a destination, but life is a journey from birth to death to life everlasting. Yizkor means memory, memorial, and we do a Yizkor service 4 times during the year, each of the 3 festivals, as we call it, Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot, and also on Yom Kippur. And we do this to remember never to forget. People leave our hands, but they never leave us. And they continue to walk with us and mold us and maybe even still learn with us years after they've left the earth. We are people who endure because we take generations past with us as we move forward. We'll also light candles on their yard sites on the anniversaries of their passing. It's not morbid. It's a blessing. And this actually comes from the Far East. It's, traditions move west. And ancestral ideology is something that's sacred because we can only be who we are if we remember what's come before us. And so that's why for Sukkot we commemorate Yizkor. On page 580, Yizkor Elohim nishmot yakarenu shelchu l'olamam, ana tihyena nafshotehem, tzurot b'tzur hachaim uti menuchatam kavod, suvas machot et panecha, ne'imot b'mincha netzach. Amen. May God remember forever our loved ones who have gone to their eternal rest. May they be at one with the one who is life eternal. May the beauty of their lives shine forevermore, and may our lives always bring blessing and honor to their memory. Yizkor Elohim nishmot kol achenu v'achotenu b'nei Yisrael, shemasru et nafshotehem al kiddush Hashem. Ana tihyena nafshotehem tzurot b'tzur chaim uti menuchatam kavod. Sovas machot et panecha ne'imot b'mincha netzach.
Amen.
May God remember forever our brothers and sisters of the house of Israel and the world who have given their lives for the sanctification of the divine name. May they be at one with the one who is life eternal. May the beauty of their lives shine forevermore, and may our lives always bring honor to their memory. So if you'll take just a minute or two, if you have names in the memorial book or if you have names to remember, if you want to read pieces that may help you in grief and in celebration. And on page 582, please rise for El Malei Rachamim.
El Malei Rachamim, Shochein, Shochein Hamromim, Hamsem Nuchan Nechona, Tachat Kanfer Shchina, Im Kiddushim Utorim, Kezaragim Marzirim, Lenishmot, Leakirinu, Shehalhu, Shehalhu L'olamam, Ba'al HaRachamim, Yastirim B'Seiter Knafav L'olamim, B'Tzror, B'Tzror, Achayim Nishmatam, Adonai Hu Nachalatam, V'yanuhu B'Shalom, B'Shalom Al Mishkavam, V'nomar
And we recall the yard sites being remembered this week. Joseph Baer, Charles Cooper, Brandon Dowler, Morris Dworkin, Warren Figus, Esther Hauser, Esther Kornitsky, Linda Lerner, Gertrude L. Marks, Dorothy Murchison, Elaine Miller, Tom Patton, Walter Pesco, Robert Rekadal, Anne Rogovin, Ruth Rothman, Suzanne Sachs, Daniel B. Solomon, Gilbert H. Solomon, Reva Sklarin, and George Weiner. And if there's other Yortzites, please share their names this week. We are in Shloshim for Lorraine Rothman and Sissy Merlis. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always bring us to blessing. Kaddish is on page 598. Yitgadal v'yikadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon v'yom echon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agalav izman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'tromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'halal, shmei d'kudsha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlomo Rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Please be seated.
Osei shalom b'mromav, Ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
I'm Wayne Hallard. On behalf of Monmouth Reformed Temple, I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us tonight, both here in the sanctuary and at home via the live stream. We have some announcements for this evening, which why wouldn't we? We always do. Check the weekly e-blast for more information on the following events. Torah study is tomorrow at 9:30. Tomorrow at 10, we have the bat mitzvah of Marissa Oken. Mazel tov to Marissa and the entire Oken family. Sunday morning is consecration of our religious school. Welcome to all the new families. Everyone is welcome to join us for Simchat Torah, celebrating this Sunday, September 26th at 11:30 a.m. Save the date for our Adult Ed Scholar in Residence program on October the 10th, 2021. Professor Yadin Israel will give a presentation on the topic, Jesus the Jew. More information will be included in next week's e-blast. Our September Tzedakah collection is supporting Family Promise. Our MRT family has been deeply involved in its mission for years, helping with all the services to help lift people out of their economic and societal struggles. Family Promise of Monmouth County is merging, and I understand as of today, last night, has merged with the local aid agency Powerhouse Lunch Break to bring greater resources and hands to help to the cause. Please give generously. For the protection of our MRT family, please stay home if you feel sick or believe you've been exposed to COVID. Our synagogue continues to engage together in meaningful ways. We would love to have more people to invest in our mission of helping others and connecting as a Jewish community. We welcome your investment and gift to help us to continue to grow. For information on joining our MRT family or making a donation, please contact Jordana Steinberg in our office or visit our website, www.monmouthreformedtemple.org. Rabbi and Cantor are always available as well. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, Wayne. So just one note on the merger of Family Promise and Lunch Break. Long before I was here, we were so deeply involved in Family Promise. Kay Weisenfeld was coordinating so many of those efforts and got a lot of us involved. It happened that we had a family that didn't know what to do for a bat mitzvah project. And so we sent them to Family Promise. And so taken was the family that Mom is the president of Family Promise, Jess Stepansky. And as she said last night at the formal merger, that was her last night as president, but they can't get rid of her. So we also have people who are deeply invested and involved in Lunch Break, the family life skill work in their pantry. And so it's wonderful to see the impact that a community can have in not only doing the work, but bringing collaboration together. And on a slightly selfish note, it means that we don't have to have people choose, I'm working for Family Promise or I'm working for Lunch Break, because it's all the same mission now. It's always been the same mission, but under two houses. But folks, when you can make that happen. Everybody here, everybody at home, everybody can be that person to pull organizations together and to bring incredible healing. It's great when you can see the mission that we keep talking about continue to play out and continue to grow. So with that, it is Sukkot. And we have a lulav and an etrog. The lulav, the three pieces of it, the spine, the palm, the lips of the willow, and the eyes of the myrtle. What I'm talking about is the rabbis teach us that this represents not just species of plants, but the human body. We need the flexibility of our spine and the fragrance and taste, sweetness of the willow. Everything that comes out of our mouth should always be sweet. And that the keen sense, if you look at an aged lulav set, it's most often the myrtle that is the last to wilt. The eyes continue to see, even as we start to get older, even if the bees don't necessarily see, the wisdom that we have continues to share with the world. And the last piece is the etrog, the heart. It is fragrant, and it's sweet smelling. So should be the heart of service we bring to this world. So we're going to say the bracha. The lulav and etrog will be here for anybody who would like to participate in the mitzvah before they leave. So it's Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat lulav. And because we haven't done this in the sanctuary yet,
We should say,
can I get a shechianu?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
And this holiday was made for COVID, because there's a risk if you're too close to someone when you're shaking the lulav, you might stab them. So needing to maintain a social distance is a good thing when shaking the lulav. But you'll shake it forward and back, side, up and down, every direction that we can see, every direction that we can experience each other, God, and the blessings of nature. And then before you pass it, you will turn the etrog, and that way when someone picks it up, not by accident but with intention, you get ready to perform the mitzvah. So with that, seasons turn, our lives continue to turn, the Torah cycle is turning, and from Ecclesiastes, which is the Megillah, the book from the Torah that is assigned to be read during this holiday, from the wise melody rendition of the birds.
I don't remember if it's the birds or the yard birds.
No, it was the birds.
Okay.
Trust me, Eric Clapton would not do the song
Okay,
well.
Rabbi, I believe you. I know it's definitely more fresh in your mind than mine.
Okay.
So our closing song is on page 664.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything, to everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of heat, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, which is right now. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to run, a time to sow, a time of love, a time of hate, a time of peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and the time for every purpose under heaven.
So we move forth into this holiday. We have several days left that we can commit ourselves to making the difference for which we pray, to change the world that is into the one that we want, and to rejoice as we start the Torah cycle over again with a commitment to internalizing it with new eyes and to helping it mold us into paying more attention to the world. So with that,
Oh, we have a few young people.
yes, so Graham, Tilly, Jack. you wanna
And
come up?
Aaron and Marissa, would you come
Yeah.
help us bless the challah?
You're still little kids. And technically, when at a bar or bat mitzvah, and we were getting ready to throw candy, I tell people, if you think you're young, you qualify to come collect it, okay? So, okay, guys. So, you're the oldest, you get to hold it. Okay, ready?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Say, everybody take a slice.
We thank Eva, did a great job, and Eva will be back in a few weeks when Sam Goodman is leading services. So thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. And we look forward to seeing you for the bat mitzvah tomorrow and for everything that we're doing as we move forward. So Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach, everyone. Thank you.